Well, parity has reached college football to a point. That's the topic on today's show. A reminder to hit the subscribe button. And we always appreciate your feedback and your support. Best way to do it, give us your comments, give us your feedback, and hit the subscribe button, please. Well, college football, if you look at the rankings, and keep in mind that the playoff rankings do not come out officially for the next couple of weeks, but we use the media rankings for now, which don't mean anything, but it's an indicator at least. It's what people like to talk about until the official rankings come out. Indiana at 2, Georgia Tech at 7, and Vanderbilt at 10. I mean, what planet are we on? Yeah, that's something you could not have predicted with a million guesses that's how it would be ranked if you go back a couple of years ago. But there is a new era in college football, as we all know. The NIL era, how things are done, transfer portal, and who can do what and with what. And we're seeing some emphasis as a result. Hey, if you put money in the program and you can pay for players, maybe I want to be a part of it. So you've got a couple of key boosters at Georgia Tech. You got at Vanderbilt. They've always had money. They're starting to see a reason to put forth the energy into the football program. They've had a great baseball program they've put money into. It's good to see them do it there. And, of course, guys like Mark Cuban saying, hey, I want the football program to succeed at Indiana, his alma mater. We're seeing that have an effect. But we're also seeing good coaching at those places, good organizational leadership from the coaches and the administration, and the fact that if you can put money together and you don't have to get the 5 stars out of high school, if you can get them in the transfer portal and find the right guys in the right mix, and you can correlate them together, develop them together, then that becomes maybe a special run. But when you look at it, too, there's another component to keep in mind. This is a great run by Indiana. This is a fabulous run this year by Vanderbilt. Missouri's another example of being really good. We've seen what Ole Miss has done under Lane Kiffin. But keep in mind, this is something that is not talked about enough on a national level. We always talk nationally about strength of schedule when we're comparing from one team from one part of the country to another. We must look at that intently within the conference. You can be in the SEC. You don't have the same schedule. I mean, if you're playing Mississippi State, Kentucky, and South Carolina, that's a whole lot different than playing Alabama, Georgia, Texas A&M, for example. It's a world of difference. So just because your record says 6-1, 7-0, whatever, you could be really good. But how good? Let's take a look at it. Let's take Vanderbilt, for example. Blow out South Carolina. We know there were circumstances there. South Carolina's not very good to begin with. LSU's been overrated all year long. We've talked about it. The problems on the offensive line were obvious to me in the spring. And talking with their coaches, we went over it. I just don't think LSU is nearly as good. It's a great win for Vanderbilt. Let's end, stop, full stop. Vanderbilt playing Missouri this week in Nashville with the focus on the country on them is phenomenal for college football. And the loser is probably taking a big hit towards the national playoffs, but the fact that we're having that discussion is incredible. 12-team playoff, you can get in it, particularly if you have the softer schedule than maybe someone else. Look, let me call it what it is. Georgia plays Missouri. Georgia plays Vanderbilt. Georgia's beaten both of those teams. Alabama, same thing. We saw Alabama beat Vanderbilt. I thought the most impressive thing I thought from Vanderbilt all year long is not their wins, but how competitive they were against Alabama. I think Missouri, competitive. I think those things are important to know. That's what impresses me is, in both cases, the losses and how well they looked in the losses. But I do think that getting to the playoffs is a new beginning for everyone. If you can make it to the playoffs at a Missouri, at an Ole Miss, at an Indiana, at a Georgia Tech, that is beyond exceptional. That's unusual. That is the ceiling at those places. Everyone will say, well, you make the playoffs, anything happen, you can win the NCAA championship. No, you can't. This is not college basketball. There's still a big difference between Ohio State and Indiana. There's still a difference, although maybe they played them competitively, between Alabama and Georgia and Vanderbilt and Missouri. Navigating through that schedule is easier, but now you have to play tougher teams in the playoffs, and it's going to be much more difficult to get through. So while there is parity in terms of, I do think right now the SEC does not have a great team. I don't think Alabama and Georgia are great. And I don't think there's a bad team in the SEC. The worst, probably looking on film, is Kentucky. But I'm going to tell you, Kentucky, Mississippi State, South Carolina, they're not awful. They're not good, but they're not awful. They're, in some respects, pretty decent. When you don't have a great team, you don't have a really bad team, everything is compressed. I think in the Big Ten, Michigan, Penn State, we know the trouble they're having. Ohio State's good. I don't know that they're as good as last year, but they are, in my opinion, clearly the best team in the Big Ten. And I think Indiana, the second best, clearly the second best right now. But I think there's a distinction and a difference between the two, and we'll see when they play whether that pans out. I do think that, and I think we've seen this with Vanderbilt in Missouri up against Alabama. And I do think Indiana would play Ohio State, will play them tough. But I think what you have to understand is getting through and making it all the way to the championship game is going to require an incredible balance and depth that only a few teams have. If I were looking right now in the balance of college football and the parity that is, and all the teams that are open to make it into the playoffs, Ohio State can win a title, Alabama could win a title, Georgia could win one, although I don't trust them. Miami has all the pieces, offensive line, defensive line, quarterback play, to be there. Now, I do think there's some elements that Indiana has. I think there's some elements that Vanderbilt has. I think A&M is a really good team. Texas A&M, if they put it all together, I think defensively they're very good, but they've been sporadic on defense and have given up some points in yardage lately that concern me. I don't think they've got a consistent enough passing game to beat good defenses, so they're going to have to come together in a big-time way. I do think Oregon is a really good team and is capable. It's going to be fun. But I would pump the brakes on, well, anybody can win it. I think there's still a select few that are capable of winning it. I don't think there are 12 teams that are capable. But I do agree, there's a lot more balance, a lot more openness, and a lot more excitement around the country with different programs that feel like they can make in the playoffs and make it happen once they get there. Always appreciate you joining us. Subscribe, give us your thoughts and feedback. Love having you. We appreciate you. Help us grow, and there's only one way to do it. So help us by subscribing today. Thanks.